Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel and Oz Prado crew. Just wanted to show you fitting this Kaon rear antenna mount. It's pretty simple, really straightforward as you can see, but I was just going to give you a few little tips with it, so we should be able to keep this one nice and short and sweet. So obviously you've just got to take your rear spare wheel off, your only spare wheel, your rear one. Anyway, these little bolts, take those off, the two nuts, sorry. Look, I just loosened all four of them off, so you got two at the top, two at the bottom. And this holder here, I didn't take it right off because you've got a plug there rather than unplug it. So you loosen them all off and then just took the top two nuts off, allowed that to come back a little bit, set the bracket in place. Now this one is one of the earlier ones. It was a little bit tight to fit over the two bolts, and I did need to file a tiny little bit inside the bracket just to make it fit. Literally took about 30 seconds of filing. I think they're going to make a slight change of a millimetre or whatever so it slips on easily, which is even better. There's a bottom spacer bracket as well that goes in the bottom there. I don't know if you can see it. See that plate there? There you go, you can see it. So that's just to even out. So it does two jobs. It's not only a rear antenna mount bracket, it's also a rear wheel spacer. So that's around about, I reckon, what's that? I reckon that's 4 mil without measuring it. But it just gives you that little bit more space if you've got a bigger tyre, that it's going to space it out a little bit more off the back of the vehicle. And the other thing you can do then also is use some washers or a spacer. I'm not sure if Kaon have got a spacer, but here's another, I suppose, optional extra they could have if they haven't. I just use washers, but you could make up a spacer, a round spacer that goes all the way around that fits straight on there, about, you know, again, another 5 or 6 mil thick, that just brings your wheel out a little bit on the stud. That way, between that aerial mount and that wheel spacer, you'll fit a bigger tyre on if you so decide to go to a bigger tyre for whatever reason. The idea of the aerial mount bracket on the right is a couple of things. Very reliable. It's not getting shaken around like your bull bar. Quite often, like for me, I'm leading a convoy, so it's probably better if the antenna's on the back so that I get better range to people instead of on the bull bar where it's got to go kind of through the car and the roof rack and swags and all that. Wouldn't make a massive difference, but at a longer distance it does make a difference. So just nice and secure, and that way it's reliable. It's not getting shaken around like the bull bar, right? And what you can do, you can run your wire. You could secure it if there were a couple of holes in this bracket here. I'm just going to thought I'll put that out. There are a couple of little holes where you could put zip ties along the bottom here. Let's say a hole there, a hole there. So we could zip tie the cable coming off the bottom of the antenna. But anyway, we'll make do. This is good, but there's always a way to improve things. Anyway, the cable could come down. You could put it back through. You could put it back through somewhere with this grommet, either inside the grommet. You could take the tape off and feed the wire through inside there. Get it into the back of the vehicle, and then once you've got it into the back of the vehicle, you could then go ahead and run it. Let's just go in there and have a look at that actually. So what you could do is, there's plenty of room in here, right? There's a whole heap of room there, right? So there's wires in there, but I'm giving it a squeeze I can feel. So once you've got it in the door, you can run it in the door through there, and then under your trim. Once you could get it through here, you could easily just pop this trim off a little bit, and then just run it along the bottom of your trim, up that side of the car to wherever your UHF radio is. So, and of course we've got the Kaon table as well. Beautiful. Back out here. There it is, guys. I'll show you that with the wheel on as well, show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like, obviously with the wheel and tyre back on. Right, that's where the bracket sits there, so it's up in behind, you know. It's not like it's gonna, you know, hit on the body or anything like that. Obviously well designed. It's 4 mil, so there's a little bit of flex in it, but an antenna's not going to go too far with the body of the car. It's got the little slot cut into it, so you can just, whoa, nearly dropped it, here we go. Easily, you know, in and out with the wire, which is handy. I don't know, with brackets, some of them don't do that. But anyway, guys, another awesome little bit of kit from Kaon. So check it out if you're interested. That's where it goes. Hope that helps. See ya.